Spartacus, the gladiator who sparked a revolutionary flame. Throughout history, few figures have embodied the spirit of resistance and defiance quite like Spartacus. A gladiator by force and a revolutionary by necessity, Spartacus remains one of the most iconic symbols of the fight against oppression. Born in Thrace, a rugged region near the borders of modern-day Bulgaria, Greece, and Turkey, Spartacus likely grew up in a tribal society that valued warfare and independence. Historical sources suggest he may have served as an auxiliary in the Roman army, gaining first-hand experience with the military machine that dominated much of the known world. However, at some point, Spartacus found himself betrayed, captured, or perhaps even forced into slavery after rebelling against Roman authority. His physical prowess and fighting spirit did not go unnoticed. Instead of being sold to work in the fields or mines, common fates for enslaved people, he was sent to a ludus, a gladiator training school in Capua located in southern Italy. These schools were notorious for their harsh discipline and brutal training regimens. Gladiators were not only expected to fight, but to entertain bloodthirsty Roman crowds, risking their lives for the amusement of others. Life in the arena was meant to crush a person's identity, but for Spartacus it forged him into a symbol of rebellion. The stage was set for one of the most daring escapes and uprisings in ancient history. In the year 73 BC, the walls of the gladiator school in Capua could no longer contain the burning desire for freedom. Spartacus, together with approximately 70 of his fellow gladiators, orchestrated a daring escape, one that would ignite a rebellion the Roman Republic never anticipated. The uprising began with little more than raw courage and improvised weapons. According to ancient sources, the rebels initially armed themselves with kitchen knives and utensils. They seized real weapons from passing supply wagons. Once free from Capua, Spartacus and his companions retreated to the slopes of Mount Vesuvius, using the rugged terrain as a natural fortress. From this strategic position, they launched surprise attacks on Roman patrols and military outposts. What had started as a small breakout quickly evolved into a full-scale rebellion. Enslaved men and women from across Italy, many of them brutally oppressed for years, flocked to Spartacus's banner. Spartacus's leadership proved crucial. Not only was he a skilled fighter, this ragtag group of gladiators and enslaved people began to achieve what seemed impossible. Rome, at first, underestimated the rebellion. But Spartacus had sparked more than just a rebellion. He had ignited a revolutionary flame. While many rebellions throughout history have been fueled by desperation, Spartacus's uprising came to represent something far greater. The Roman Republic was built on conquest, wealth, and slavery. But for those in chains, life was defined by brutality, dehumanization, and the constant threat of death. Historians estimate that at the height of the uprising, his army consisted of nearly 120,000 men, women, and children. What set Spartacus apart from other rebel leaders was his extraordinary strategic mind. His army functioned as a kind of mobile society, built on cooperation rather than coercion. The rebellion exposed the vulnerability of even the most powerful systems. Despite their remarkable victories and unwavering determination, Spartacus and his followers were ultimately up against one of the most disciplined and ruthless military powers in history. The Roman Republic, alarmed by the scale and success of the rebellion, poured vast resources into crushing the uprising once and for all. In 71 BC, Rome appointed Marcus Licinius Crassus, one of its wealthiest and most ambitious politicians, to lead the campaign against Spartacus. Crassus, eager to cement his reputation, approached the conflict with brutal efficiency. He restructured the Roman legions, enforced strict discipline, including the ancient and gruesome practice of decimation, and launched an aggressive pursuit of the rebel forces. Though Spartacus's army had achieved impressive victories, they faced increasing challenges. Internal divisions arose, as different groups within the rebellion had differing visions for their future. Some sought immediate escape from Italy, others desired to continue fighting Rome. Supplies became scarce, and after years on the run, the rebels were fatigued. The final confrontation took place in southern Italy near the river Silurus. Spartacus, realizing retreat was no longer an option, prepared his forces for one last desperate battle. Ancient sources describe him fighting with extraordinary bravery, reportedly cutting down enemies to reach Crassus himself, though ultimately overwhelmed by superior Roman numbers. Spartacus is believed to have fallen in this final battle. His body never recovered. The remaining rebels faced a grim fate. Over 6,000 were captured and crucified along the Appian Way, stretching from Capua to Rome. It was a gruesome display of Roman authority intended to discourage any future revolts. Yet despite the rebellion's military defeat, Spartacus's legacy endured. His name became synonymous with resistance, defiance, and the unyielding quest for freedom. His uprising exposed the deep fractures within Roman society and forced the elite to reckon with the brutal consequences of their dependence on slavery. For generations to come, Spartacus's story would inspire countless others, not as a tale of defeat, but as a testament to the human spirit's refusal to accept oppression. Spartacus, a timeless symbol of resistance. Though the rebellion he led was ultimately crushed, the spirit of Spartacus could not be silenced. His story, passed down through the centuries, has transcended the boundaries of time and place, transforming him into a global symbol of defiance against tyranny and the enduring human longing for freedom. For the Roman elite, Spartacus initially represented a dangerous memory, a reminder that even the most powerful empire could be shaken by the rebellion of those it sought to control. But for the oppressed, the exploited, and the marginalized, his name became a rallying cry for justice. Over time, Spartacus evolved from historical figure to cultural icon. His legacy has been celebrated in literature, art, and film. Most famously in the 1960 film Spartacus, directed by Stanley Kubrick, where actor Kirk Douglas portrayed him as a heroic leader willing to sacrifice everything for the freedom of his people. The iconic line, "I am Spartacus," declared by his followers in solidarity, encapsulates the idea that the fight for justice belongs to all. Beyond popular culture, Spartacus's story has inspired political movements and revolutionary thinkers, from slave uprisings in the Americas to 20th century struggles for civil rights and workers' rights. His rebellion serves as a historical touchstone for those who dare to challenge injustice. Even today, in a world still marked by inequality, exploitation, and oppression, the flame Spartacus ignited continues to burn. His life reminds us that resistance often comes at great cost, but it also plants the seeds of hope and change. Spartacus was more than just a gladiator forced to fight for entertainment. He was a visionary, a leader, and above all, a symbol. Proof that even the most unlikely individuals, bound by chains and stripped of power, can rise to challenge empires and spark revolutions that echo through history. If you like this video, maybe you also like one of these videos. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.